stable track technology reduces vibrations so you can create more. And it's backed by an industry-leading 5-year warranty. WD Black Performance Storage. Higher capacities, more performance, more possibilities.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hearthstone Legendary Series brought to you by ESL America. We're getting ready for our last quarterfinals of the day between Lifecoach and MagicAmy. This one's a really cool one because we haven't seen too much of Lifecoach post-GVG, and likewise, we don't really know too much about MagicAmy, but yesterday she made quite the splash in the Open Finals where she won the entire thing. Well played to her. Let's take a look at the bracket, see where we currently sit after 3 series of play. We had Zalay, Darkwonix, Show, and the winner of this series moves on to the semifinals.
Yeah, MagicAmy really impressed me with her play yesterday. And Lifecoach, he's been an innovator as well, and I'm really looking for him to sort of make a splash of his own coming into as GVG is starting to get people a little bit more used to it. And we'll have to see if he's going to make it through today, but MagicAmy, she's got a lot more to prove coming in today, and I think she's one of the favorites.
Well, I think she played immaculately yesterday. I think that she's still going to be underestimated by a lot of people who first glance because they're saying, well, we don't really know too many well-known female players.
Yeah.
Like off the top of your head, you're like, there's a few streamers who you might know in Hearthstone, but you don't really know them primarily for their high rankings on ladder or the fact that they own teams. But MagicAmy actually does both of those teams.
Yeah.
Or at least, I don't know if she owns the team, but I know the team's named after her. So there's a very strong likelihood that she is involved in some managerial or ownership duties there. Our last quarterfinal, we also 5 different classes featuring Paladin, Mage, Warlock, Warrior, and Druid. This one's a neat one too because I haven't seen Lifecoach play classes like Paladin and Mage very often. I've always seen him play Hunter. I've always seen him play Warlock. And I've even seen him play the Miracle Druid, right? That's the class that Lifecoach is known for. But does he? What do we know about Lifecoach and all the other decks that he's able to play here?
Yeah, these are the decks that I think are the most powerful right now, with the exception of maybe taking out the Mage and putting in a Warrior. A lot of people will think that the Mage is really great, but I think Mage is primarily more of like a ladder climb deck right now, and maybe won't have as much success in the competitive environment. Now, this tournament format plays a little bit more into the ladder style, but we haven't seen Mage have much success since GVG came out, and before it just really has fallen flat on its face a lot of times. So we'll see if Lifecoach can make it happen. But MagicAmy's deck lineup is actually pretty solid with the Warrior, the Druid, and the Handlock, which she had so many wins yesterday with the Handlock.
She's playing all the way from Korea too, so we want to thank people who are playing in Asia, Weifu, MagicAmy, other guys in the other weeks like D2, Ping Ping Ho. They're all playing at very late hours of the day, because we do have some people over there in that side of the world. And then the Europeans, it's starting to get late over there too. It's like, starting to get to like 1, 2 a.m. It might go for a long time tonight because some of the matches here have been very, very long.
Yes, they have. Yeah, our last match was the first 3-0 that we've seen in a long time, and even that one was pretty long. But it's a lot of fun Hearthstone matches today. I don't think we'll be able to top that Darkwonix Kibler series, but...
Nope, that one was really long and really fun, and a lot of hype too, because honestly I was like, what is going on with these decks?
Yeah, but you can see Lifecoach is very the standard aggressive mech mage right now.
Yes, and the one thing that I know might get under some people's skin, I'm not sure if it's MagicAmy or like other people who are watching or playing, but Lifecoach takes his sweet time. That is one thing that is defining. More than his mid-range Hunter, more than his excellent facial hair and the fact that he likes to stream shirtless, is the fact that Lifecoach ropes very often.
We have quite a few players today that actually take their sweet time on turns. Zalay as well, a player that we saw earlier. Very Lifecoach-esque
Here we
style.
go. Here we go.
Turn 1.
MagicAmy passes immediately because there's nothing to do. She's handlocked. And then Lifecoach is like, It's not as clear. Like, normally you're like, oh, well, Mana Worm, Coin, Leper, no. To Lifecoach, it's just like, it's something worth evaluating at every single point. But this is something that also pans into it, too, because at DreamHack, what happened was he played every turn to rope against Savitz. Then one turn, he just insta-played a trap and then passed it back. And Savitz made the wrong read because it was like, well, he made the instant pass. It can't be explosive trap, but it was. and so as a result, he misplayed into it. Very, very amusing and interesting anecdotal evidence that might show you to play the outside psychological factors of Hearthstone.
Exceptional mind games from Lifecoach. It's just a giant, elaborate mind game. His whole facade of taking long on turns. He actually decides what he's going to do within 5 seconds.
Quite possibly. I mean, some of these turns, they're not going to take forever.
Oh, yeah. This is pretty straightforward.
But I know a lot of players have always told me off the record, they said, the player that I fear the most is not, you know, Colento, it's not Strife Crow, not like Tiddler, Celestial, or Firebat, it's Lifecoach, because they're like, I'm afraid I'm going to go on tilt when I play against this guy. Just like the sheer amount of like, it's turn 1, dude.
MagicAmy, though, it could play a part in her. You said she's playing from Korea. She might get a little frustrated that he's taking long to turns because she might want to just go to sleep at some point in the next couple days and not play in this tournament until the end of time.
Yeah, if I was playing till like 5, 6 a.m., I'd probably just want to sleep and never wake up.
Or just play really fast, aggressive decks to try and end games early.
She's also taking her time too. This turn feels like either remove or you play something defensive like Ancient Watcher. You know that you can't necessarily get away with tapping too often. Now, what secret is that from Lifecoach? Oh, it's a mirror entity. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, so since he can't play the other mirror entity.
That's going to be funny because the Ancient Watcher comes down. Oh, well, before that, he's going to tap. Yeah, and then the Ancient Watcher gets copied, and it's like, well...
Not the best of creatures
to
take.
Not quite what was planned.
I'm waiting to see the meta evolve a little bit to where Mage and Hunter are at the front and people start playing the Kazan Mystic.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Take advantage or take control of an enemy secret.
Yeah, it's a really cool card.
Still haven't seen it like apply.
I saw it in Arena once.
Yeah.
It didn't really do much though. Because then you know what the secret is, which is half the battle. And yeah, I doubt that'll ever happen.
I preferred like doing cool stuff with like Illuminator. That was really fun for a while because Hunters were still out in full force in GVG release.
Yep. And
so I just played Illuminator and some secrets like Ice Block, and they just never killed me. Lifecoach here, thinking about whether or not he wants to line up his removal because that Ancient Watcher being out there jeopardizes his entire board with Shadow Flame. If he chooses to load up though without fear, he still gets some damage in. And Fireball often is your reach because you get close to Molten Giants and you have an opportunity to try and use Fireball to burn. So I think he's saving it. I'm in favor for it because that's your way to finish the game.
Yeah, you don't have to hold back as much as a mage in this matchup as you would in other matchups because you do have that extra reach that goes through taunts. And it's pretty reliable reach. It's not like you're waiting on a single card combination. Like, even if you just have a Fireball and a Frostbolt on a single turn later in the game, that's still 10 damage, which bypasses anything. So that's something extra that you have to play into as a handlock as well in this matchup. You not only have to play around what's on the board, you have to play around the potential that your opponent could have the damage worth of spells in their hand.
Yeah, now MagicAmy's like, well, what secret is this? And she doesn't want to give a Sludge Belcher, so it's going to be a Farseer. Ooh. Hellfire might be really useful too. First, she has to get confirmation though about what secret it is, because if it's Counterspell, then that Hellfire becomes a lot less useful.
Well, this damage is starting to add up on the board. So you also have to be worried that if you Hellfire with a Leper Gnome on the board, that's a lot of damage that you're going to be taking.
Yeah, he's got 15 damage this turn.
Yeah.
But he's got to hold it back a little bit. Use the Fireball as a finisher. Also, again, keep in mind it is possible for these minions to go for board clears. So what's the best way to go about it? He's going to start playing just a little bit of control on the board. Whirling Blades gives +1 attack to a minion, so he has a little bit of extra punch there.
That's decent.
It is decent. There's no way this Mech Mage activates the Ancient Watcher, right? That's just another minion for I don't know. It's just another minion that's just sitting there,
Yeah.
taking up a slot.
It's useless. It's really just useless. Because you don't have any type of taunt givers. There's no silence in this deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably one of the worst targets you can
Alright.
see with Mirror Entity. Except for Doomsayer.
Sneaking a little bit of damage any way he can. Have to imagine he wants to play this Leopard Gnome too. Holds back on 15 health though, which seems reasonable, so that way he doesn't enable easy Molten Giant plus Taunt.
And completely ropes out right at the end. Well, that's a pretty good play. Keeping it at 15 health is really, really smart because it's probably the most awkward amount of health you can be at.
Hellfire does allow MagicAmy to play a Molten Giant, but the problem is you can't taunt after that, so it seems like Ancient Watcher taunt is the best course of action.
Yeah. And if you do that, then you're going to be sitting at 11 health with a 2-1 on the board. So then it doesn't take much to be able to push through for damage.
Ooh,
Whoa.
4, 10. He's 2 damage off.
Wow.
It's actually quite crazy.
No, I don't know. He wouldn't be able to clear off.
Well, no, he would kill off like if he kill off blue Leopard Gnomes
Just kill off the Leopard Gnomes,
and
yeah.
burned her, then he'd be 2 damage off.
Yeah.
This is still a little tricky because in the back of your mind you're like, well, she probably doesn't have Shadow Flame, right? Can you make that assumption?
I don't even know if you can. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can safely say that because there was a few turns earlier on, past couple turns, where Shadow Flame probably would have been the most reliable option. But, okay, going to use his Fireball to actually clear off one of these Ancient Watchers. So he's not really worried about throwing away that burn. But I'm not sure. That's very conservative choice.
He's going to
I
use his
guess.
hero power here. Oh, Frostbolt on this as well.
So throw a lot to try and get rid of this.
Alright, looks like Lifecoach missed a little bit of damage here.
Yeah, I think he was wanting to trade in the Earthen Ring Farseer into the defender.
Uh-oh, Lifecoach took a little bit too much time.
Yeah.
Does that make the big difference though? Maybe.
I mean, we'll have to see in the coming turn.
There's no Shadow Flame. So.
Yeah, no Shadow Flame. That could have really come back to bite him, but I guess in that case it wouldn't have mattered too much. But it just seems weird to put her at 11 health, but use all your burn. I don't know. It was a weird turn. Weird turn.
Well, now it's get weirder because now we're not sure if Lifecoach can push through. Now the thing is, it's all about the pressure point because as soon as Mage gets locked out of the game, it'll end in like 2 turns and the handlock will overwhelm.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. Tigger Town Technician. Reasonable body on the board.
At this point, you don't have any other choice but to try and flood out.
What spare part does he get?
Armor
No.
plating.
It's only +1
He
health.
can. Oh, he could have saved his Earthen Ring. Guess he doesn't really care. Oh, he wants to save his Leopard Gnome.
Okay.
Why?
That's a good question.
Why
I
would you
guess it's
save the
just-
Leopard Gnome over the Earthen Ring Farseer? For more potential
Yeah,
burn?
I guess so. So that he heals less based off of damage done. But this is like a really bad spot now.
Yeah.
What's interesting too is that Handlock can't heal.
Oh! Hello, Mr.
Wow.
Jeeves.
What a draw! He's gonna pick up 3 cards, and there's a strong likelihood he might pick up another Fireball of sorts.
Yeah. And even if not, he can flood the board and still just replenish his hand with 3 more cards.
Well, I mean, Handlock's gonna not let that live. There's
Yeah.
no way MagicAmy lets that live, right?
Unless you want to flood the board yourself and try and get some cards, so that's impossible. But even then, it's like draw 3 cards and effectively like heal 8 health. Or
Wow.
that's pretty big.
Mech Warper gonna really flex his muscles here.
You want the taunt here. Oh, this is a way you can activate it. If you get Rusty Horn from one of the spare parts, you can activate your Ancient Watcher. He doesn't get it, but
What about the stealth cloaking field? It also seems interesting. You want to use it on your Tinkertown, right?
yeah, try and preserve as much damage as you possibly can.
And that is going to be slightly out of the range of Hellfire. Oh, and what a great draw that would have been if the stealth wasn't the case. Now she has to just draw for something else. Iron Beak Owl.
Another stealth.
Yeah. That's not a taunt.
I think Lifecoach wants to see the Rusty Horn at that point, though.
Yeah, for the Ancient Watcher to activate it. Stealth the Ancient Watcher. Now no one will attack him.
Now he'll forever take up a spot on this board.
At one point, you have to start attacking the face, too. Like, you have to start putting the mage on the clock here. Which, I guess it means that you kill out these 2 minions, you kill out the Mech Warper and the Snow Chugger, and then you attack the Molten Giant in the face, right? Oh, picks up a taunt! It's a pretty big deal.
Or you can just... I think you just Sunfury Protector and then go for it.
Why not the Twilight Drake? Because you then the Mountain Giant becomes unplayable? I like the more power on the board.
Well, if you... Yeah, I guess so. And this way you can clear a little bit, play it, and still have a healthy taunt on the board.
Yeah, I think this makes most sense.
I was just thinking as far as how much damage could you possibly put in the face that turn. You could have put him at lethal range next, even if you got rid of the well, no, it would have been 1 off if you got rid of the Twilight Drake, so that's pretty good.
Ooh, man.
Whoa!
It's still really tense, because he could just be 1 Frostbolt away from ending the game.
Yeah. That's 10 damage showing on board right now. You can't use this Fireball.
No,
okay.
no, you cannot. That's your win condition.
Your only win condition.
He's got 1 more Frostbolt in the deck. I wonder how many cards is remaining. At this point, MagicAmy is tempted just to put on all aggression by silencing your own Farseer, but that doesn't really do much.
No, because you'd still be on board with lethal the next turn.
12 cards remain. 1 out of 12.
Is there anything else that he could draw that would...
Perhaps Flame Strike.
Okay.
Yeah, Flame Strike would allow him to stay alive for another turn.
It would.
If he is running.
What's it going to be?
Nope.
No.
Is he dead?
I think he's dead. Well, if you...
No, if he fireballs, he stays alive, but what's the point of that at that stage?
Well, you can try and draw into like a Flame Strike the next turn, and then maybe like an Archmage Antonitis into Fireball, or into a spell the following 2 turns, but...
You have to wonder, too.
Very slim chance.
Lifecoach did miss an opportunity to attack with 3 damage with the Farseer
Yeah.
at one point. Whether it was to kill off the Defender of Argus or to do damage to face.
That would have been enough to make that Fireball be enough for lethal. I mean, that probably would have changed the course of some of MagicAmy's plays.
Right.
But
She
who
probably would
knows?
tap at certain points.
Yeah, who knows how that could have affected the outcome of the game, though. But
Very close.
That's what you get for not being able to think your turns through fast enough.
You know what always blows me away? This mage deck, no matter how far sometimes it gets out of control on the board, it feels like it always has a chance.
Oh, yeah,
It always has a chance just to reach out of the abyss and pull out a spell and frostbolt you to the face.
Or like a Jeeves, and then they get 3 cards and draw
yeah,
like
that one I
Fireball,
wasn't expecting.
Frostbolt.
I was like, oh, geez, like this is actually starting to get crazy. How come we haven't seen Jeeves before? And it's like, well, you already run piloted shredders and maybe mechanical yetis. I don't know how much, and fireballs. I don't know how many more you need. But
it's a lot of 4-drops.
Very intense game. We go into game number 2 here. I believe it's Druid.
Druid versus Warlock.
Okay. So we have Warlock for Lifecoach. And I know Lifecoach enjoyed playing Handlock in the past too. I'd never actually seen Warlock Zoo from Lifecoach.
All right, well, this matchup is... It's not a toss-up, but it can be really rough for the Druid if the Warlock can get big threats out early and the Druid doesn't have any way to deal with them. But at the same time, if you do have ways to deal with them, like an early big game Hunter or like silences on the Twilight Drakes, then having a double combo can really swing the matchup as well, because you can use combo to remove, and then you can also use combo to win. But we've seen a few times over the past couple weeks in the Legendary Series where the handlock will just get out an early Mountain Giant, and it's just downhill from there for the Druid player if they aren't able to draw into like a BGH early on. So we'll have to see if MagicAmy can pull this one out.
All right, so Druid versus Warlock. We've seen it earlier today in different fashions. We've seen the regular matchup. We've also seen Dark Wonyx's Warlock versus Druid and what it can do in wondrous and mysterious ways. Not really sure what's going to happen here, but I'm definitely leaning towards Lifecoach if he's bringing the handlock. Or even the Zoo. Like, honestly, Warlock gives Druid such a big amount of problems.
Yeah, I think Zoo is even worse at times, because as against a handlock, you have a little bit more leeway to find answers. But as Zoo, if you don't have the answers early on, you'll just get overwhelmed way too quickly.
Well, here we go. I think Game 2 is about to begin, guys. Hope you're enjoying it so far. I think we haven't seen anything too crazy out of Lifecoach or MagicAmy just yet in terms of deck building, but the play seems solid enough. I think they've making some pretty great plays, thinking through all different lines of play. And looks like we're going to go handlock against Druid here on the opposite side of things.
This is
Lifecoach doing a nice YMCA stretch.
he's getting ready for, he's packing in for another long series, but it's Keeper of the Grove I think is a pretty good keep.
Yeah, against all forms of Warlock you have.
Especially since she doesn't know, right?
Well, against both kinds of Warlock, you usually have Keeper of the Grove, because you can use it as Innervate for turn 1 to smack down whatever Flame Imp or Undertaker, and then it's good against Twilight Drakes.
Yep. And these players just don't know until they see those first cards or see those first turns exactly what their opponent is bringing.
So this means no Zoo out of the all 8 players that we've seen today. Everyone that brought Warlock has brought handlock.
I'm not sure if that's refreshing to see or not refreshing to see.
Well, sorry, no. Everybody that brought Warlock today did bring Zoo. Dark Wonyx brought Demon Lock.
Yeah. So
let's not even try to call it Demon Lock. Let's just call it Dark Wonyx.
Dark Wonyx Warlock, yeah. Because it didn't really have that many demons in it. That Mistresses of Pain. Voidwalker.
Yeah, there's not even Mal'Ganis.
No, we didn't see Jiraxis either.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have Jiraxis. What?
It's pretty. Imps, I guess, are demons. He had Implosions.
Yeah, he didn't have Voidcaller either. Yeah, Imp's Implosion is technically a demon.
So what is?
It's just it's like a combo deck.
Yeah. It was very. I don't know. It felt very control-y.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a control Warlock.
Yeah.
Oh, MagicAmy roping on turn 1.
Just giving Lifecoach a taste of his. He looks so confused too. Am I playing against myself?
Yeah, that or we have the overlays mixed up.
That's true. No, MagicAmy is just decked out in golden cards.
I mean, I think there is some merit to question whether or not you should be going for Druid of the Claw when you have the Innervate and Coin, but I think it's much stronger to do this.
And Lifecoach is the one who instantly taps and ends turn. The roles have been reversed. Well, this is a pretty easy play to see. And another fast play.
Oh, Lifecoach might be a little bit on tilt. I've never seen him play that quick.
Wow.
Well, MagicAmy goes for the attack.
Eee.
Fias Ringleader.
No.
Very meh.
Yeah. You don't want anything with a battle cry getting from the powder shredder.
Okay.
He doesn't have a beat it scrub. It's just our town now. It's just his town now.
Only one lonely sheriff's town at this point. Well, now there's an interesting choice of Spectre Knight versus Druid of the Claw. I still think you want to maintain as much pressure as possible because you have Savage Roar. But I'm not exactly sure which is better. I think Spectre Knight is stickier, which is good because you're coming up on a turn where you don't want him to use Siphon Soul and leverage the board. So it might be a Spectre Knight, Innervate, Wrath, to kill off the 3/5 body.
Yeah. That seems reasonable. You can be...
You're spending a lot of cards to just get rid of the first half of Sludge Belcher, though.
Still, though, you don't really have much of a choice in this matchup. You have to be proactive.
Because the opposite side is he can attack into that and Hellfire if he had it.
Yeah. Okay, now this is a little bit of a tougher turn now. Lifecoach can't autopilot now. So he's got to think this one through a little bit.
Yeah. Normally you'd like to get the Twilight Drake out, but against Druid, it's coming up on a turn where they can silence it and Wrath it for 1.
Yeah. Which is, well...
Probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
On the opposite end of things.
He doesn't really have many other plays going on. This seems good. He puts the Ancient Watcher out there too, which is a really big flex card.
This is exactly what Amy saved the silence though for with the Wrath. It's like that's the intended lineup.
All right, well, this one's going. Ooh. Well, Ancient of Lore is a pretty big draw at that turn. Should be able to draw cards and still has the double innervate as well to make for a pretty huge turn. If she can find a way to get a swing turn, then that's going to be a pretty big deal.
Is it time for Dr. Boom? I think so. It's like one of the strongest minions you can play on turn 7 for tempo back on the board.
Yes, it is.
Druid can't ignore it. Well, Druid can draw the perfect answer to it.
I don't. Well, it's a good answer, but there's so many other targets in handlock that you can BGH. But I guess you can't really afford to let that Dr. Boom sit. You don't really have any other ways to deal with it.
Well, one of the ways you can look at it is you need to kill that, or you might lose the board forever.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you can save that for the ideal removal for something that's a 1/1 bigger target, or you can kill the threat at hand. So I think the BGH almost certain to come out. It's about sequencing, making sure that you don't like unnecessarily take the damage to threaten the BGH body and whatnot.
I agree. Because once Druid loses a board, very, very hard for them to gain it back. They're one of the classes that has the roughest time of swinging a bad board back in their favor. They have to use big pieces and big cards to just have a semblance of control.
Boombot can be so big.
Oh, no! That's rough.
Yep. I think Spectrum Knight or Druid the Claw comes out here too.
Yikes.
Okay. Then this is where, well, Shadow Flame is pretty effective. But first, I guess you can see what you draw, or well, let's see how the Boombot goes.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you want to Shadow Flame first to give it a better chance to kill off.
That's also a good point.
To give a better chance of killing off the Spectral Knight with the Boombot.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Maybe you do that. Start things off.
Because if you throw the Boombot in and it hits, I don't know.
I mean, you don't have to do that either. You can, I feel like there's a way you can silence your Watcher and make a play here. Let's see what this hits.
Okay.
Swing and a miss, but
okay.
He's got Mortal Coil.
Yeah, there was a lot of options there. If the Boombot had hit something else, he could have like thrown the Ancient Watcher into the Spectral Knight if it hit that. And he had he had the Mortal Coil as sort of that flex. If it hit nothing in that situation like it did, he could have used that Mortal Coil on the BGH. So
turns have gotten rather complex, and these guys are really taking in their time. Sludge Belcher seemed to be the logic one. I'm a little surprised he didn't activate his Watcher to try to kill off this body, but I guess it is one turn before combo, so he doesn't have to worry about it. Generally speaking, I'm always very wary of letting Druids keep a body on the board. It's just an extra X amount of damage with the combo.
Even just to clear. Sure. It just becomes that much more effective of a creature with Saboteur. Well, Lotheb could throw a wrench into MagicAmy's plan. It could be a really key card to push Lifecoach through in this matchup.
It is, because it stalls the full combo for 1 turn. It doesn't stop a Savage Roar. The big problem in Lifecoach's situation is that he doesn't have a taunt of any kind. And board clear is still a little hard to lock down here. Because if you silence your opponent's Cairn and then Shadow Flame, it's still 1 damage off from being able to pick off the remaining body.
That's awkward.
That's esports.
That's a good tagline.
What if you silence the Watcher, attack it into Cairn, Shadow Flame it? No, that's at least a 4 or 5. It's not, doesn't do anything.
Yeah. You're still in a run situation. Well, he's got to decide quick.
I think it is a silence play.
I guess that.
Okay. Just silence it straight up and then Farseer. Well, Lothab doesn't really matter about locking out the combo because he couldn't kill him even if he had it.
I don't know about that. This gives MagicAmy the opportunity to clear off the Lothab while still being able to keep the value of the Cairn. That was an interesting play. I'm not sure. There wasn't many great plays in that situation for Lifecoach. It was a really tough turn. No matter what he did, it felt like he was still leaving something on the board. Now he's in an even rougher situation than he was last turn.
Right, because there's a very realistic possibility his opponent might have the Savage Roar and Force of Nature.
Yeah. He might have, well, he's got a lot of healing going on in his hand. So, with Force of Nature, Savage Roar, that would be, what, 27 damage?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's very minimal ways you can play around it.
Yeah. Just have to Siphon Soul.
Siphon Soul is a reasonable response.
And tap anti-Healbot Earthenring Farseer. To have to be at 28 health to play around combo.
Doesn't seem like you should do that either. I think Siphon Soul is okay. It's good pacing. If you Siphon Soul, you're still going to be able to tap. So I think tap Siphon Soul is more than appropriate on the Ancient Watcher.
Yeah.
Or not the Ancient Watcher, the Ancient Lore. I'd be very surprised to see NT Keelbot in.
I have no time for games.
Okay.
All right.
Well, this is gonna get silenced. That's one thing too about Sylvanas. Like Shadow Flame with Sylvanas is pretty good, but doesn't really have any impact here. Silencing it still leaves a 5/5, but at least now Drew can deal with it. Or my apologies, is there lethal here? Let's see, silence, Savage Roar. No, you don't have enough mana. Because I thought it was like, if you play Drew the Claw and Savage Roar,
Wait a sec.
that would have been 21 damage, but you can't. Oh, you can.
It's lethal.
Oh, you can. Lethal. You do have enough mana to innervate.
Yeah, that's 21 damage. Keeper of the Grove, the Sylvanas. Due to the Claw charge, innervate Savage Roar. It's 21 damage.
Well, you're going to silence this either way.
Yeah.
It's all about whether or not she can spot this pocket lethal here for 21 damage.
I think you're always thinking about this
Right.
as the Druid in this matchup. You're always trying to find ways to kill the Warlock because that's one of your main ways to... That's like your only way to kill the Warlock most of the time. It's just finding creative ways to push damage through.
Here we go. Drew the Claw. In charge mode. Don't miss it. No!
Oh.
Okay, well, you know, it's obviously we have the luxury of sitting back and analyzing it.
6, 12, 9. Yeah.
That was 21 damage.
Yeah. Bummer.
That is a bummer because now the Lifecoach still has a chance. Emphasis on chance though, because his hand doesn't improve much. Hasn't improved much. This is one of the criticisms against the Antique Healbot having 2 of them in the deck because they often don't do what you want them to do in the drawn out phases of the game. It's usually that you want one and you have 2 of them because you want to draw 1 of them.
And it's sort of counterproductive when you have Molten Giants in
Right.
your hands. In your hand. Both your hands. Because hand lock. Gotta have 2 hands to hold all those cards for that.
Well, let's see. If he just heals up, how much is a Savage Roar here? Savage Roar is 12 with just minion damage plus another 8 just from all the characters. So that's 18. That's not enough. Not enough. But most likely, Lifecoach will play an anti-heal bot. Most likely, Ancient Watcher as well. There's no point in holding on to it. Alright, Farseer's okay too. Just a lot of respect for the combo.
Yeah, which he sort of has to have.
10. So he's got 10, 16. If she draws Force of Nature, that's still lethal.
Yeah.
That's wild. She'll
With
have
the
30
innervate.
damage.
That's crazy. Absurd amounts of damage. Well, Second Grove Tinder doesn't do much.
Draws a card, but
Yeah.
you might as well play Ancient of Lore.
Yeah.
Accomplishes practically the same thing.
What do you use? Ancient of Lore or Double Grove Tender?
What about Cenarius?
Innervate Scenarios? That could be good.
It's actually not too bad to Cenarius either.
But
Because
what would you do?
Cenarius-
Just
Huh?
put him or put her down to, or put him down to like 20 and then hold? Like clear the minions, do as much damage and hold? Because then you'd still be afraid of some type of Shadow Flame play.
You just have to make sure to avoid like you have to put him at 17 health at minimum.
That's true.
Oh man. These two are roping as much as they can. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, very, very safe play. Wow, okay. Going for an Innervate to clear the board. I guess Innervate's not really doing much otherwise.
And keeps all of her creatures alive as well to make for a more powerful Savage Roar. Because if she didn't do that, she would have
Right.
thrown the Bane in and it would have died. So
So now a Savage Roar does 10, 15 plus 10 is 25 damage. But now Lifecoach has more taunts in the way. This game has actually dragged on a lot longer because of MagicAmy not spotting the one ability to kill her opponent, or
Yeah.
one moment rather.
she's still in a good position, but Lifecoach has an opportunity to find himself a way back into this game. But it's still tough. When you don't have the board, you have to find a way to put yourself out of combo range while trying to deal with the Druid's board as well, because you can keep healing yourself up, but eventually you're going to run out of heals, and that board is still going to be there.
Everything is just slightly inconvenient. Again, it's to clear the board, you need to like Ancient Watcher, Defender, Shadowflame. Shadowflame the 5/6. That's your best bet at clearing the board.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the play. All right.
But now Druid still has the opportunity to seize the board initiative.
Force of Nature.
Right on time.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with just plopping down like Cenarius, or even like the Pilot Shredder and Sylvanas. It's like they all accomplish equivalent same things.
What role are those Grove Tenders going to serve as this game progresses?
Just card draw. Like at one point, it's just a dig if you need to draw one more answer, and it would be like what mana value do you put at drawing a card? Like if the card just said draw a card, how much mana would you put in?
2, 1.5.
And then for 1.5 mana, you put a 2/4 on the body.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But you're also giving your opponent a card
Right,
too.
but you're mainly caring about your own draw.
Yeah. Wow, that's very selfish. Very selfish.
I don't really think about other people.
Sometimes you gotta live life that way. Only when you're playing Hearthstone.
There's a Ragnaros in that deck. That is one way Lifecoach can catch up on damage.
He really likes Rag.
Seems to be one of the cards of high impact. But if I know Lifecoach, sometimes Rag doesn't follow the way he wants it to go.
Yeah. It's a little bit risky in this situation. Hit Sylvanas.
Okay.
Sylvana steals the rag. That's bad news.
Well, it's got Hellfires, so you can clear everything except whatever comes out of that Shredder.
Oh.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, you can keep that stealth and use it as just an extra burst of damage for Savage Roar. Or just as a way to clear a pesky big game hunter off the board, if you so choose.
Okay.
She's got a lot of ways to dig through her deck.
Yeah, I'm sensing Scenario still
Yeah.
here. And one thing that's I think you can also justify is going for a +2/+2. But I guess that it doesn't matter because he already used 2 Hellfires for Shadow Flame. So I guess considering that, AoE would be a lot weaker. These 2 Treants with Taunt though are definitely pretty significant.
Yeah, they represent tokens for a Savage Roar, and they also just represent just a nuisance on the board. AoE is pretty easily, but Lifecoach doesn't really have much left remaining. He's been through a Hellfire. I think he's used both of his Shadow Flames as well. So, the way he can... If he Siphon Souls the Scenarios here, he would be... He wouldn't be able to tap. But he would be playing around combo. He wouldn't be able to do anything else.
So many possibilities.
If he anti-heal bots, then he's dead also. He wants to tap to look for something else, but there's just no...
There's no way to play around the combo unless you just Siphon Soul Pass.
Yeah.
So, I think he's got to tap for an answer. It's not it.
Nope.
And it doesn't look like no matter what he does, I think Lifecoach is dead.
He's
Ragnaros will almost have little to no impact.
Be the same as a... Best case scenario would be the same as a Siphon Soul.
I mean, he wants Rag to line up a field goal, so let's see how lucky Lifecoach is. That, wide right. That's going to do it for game number 2 here, as MagicAmy will have combo to kill Lifecoach, and that's going to mean she's up to a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, so despite missing a lethal early on in the game,
It's all good.
she still played really solidly and had overwhelming control over the board to a point where it didn't matter. And she was one draw away from lethal for so many turns in a row. And when you're at a point where you're playing against Handlock and they're just trying to put themselves out of combo range every turn instead of trying to focus on removing the board, it's already pretty much over at that point for them.
Sure, sure. Now we go into game number 3, and Lifecoach is down 0-2, and he comes in as one of the invited players where we expected Lifecoach to do a lot better than this, just because it mimics the ladder format a lot better. Like people always can bring whatever decks they want, but last hero standing, if you lose with it, it's gone. This type of format, you can bring decks that you really like. As long as you win one time, you can bring it to the blind pick stage. Hypothetically, one deck can carry you an entire series.
It's true.
If you just win with it once in the first 3 games, and win with it in games 4 and 5.
One-trick ponies actually have a place in this tournament format. So it's possible. And this last matchup is going to be a little interesting. I'm curious to see what it's pretty obvious to see what type of Paladin Lifecoach is probably going to bring. We've only really seen that mid-rangey Paladin over the past 2 weeks, I guess. Well, I guess only this week.
We
Last
also
week saw a
seen
little bit of
an
it.
aggressive Divine Shield Paladin.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. It's still very mid-rangey, though.
And we also saw Tides bring a Control Paladin today.
Was it really that controlling? I guess so.
TJ, it had Kel'Thuzad in it.
Kel'Thuzad was like the only card that differentiated it.
I mean, it's got like Guardian of Kings.
That's it. That's it, though.
I mean, it's like pretty late game oriented.
I guess that's true. It's control-y.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could say it's a slower mid-range, but how much before it starts becoming control?
I guess so.
Yeah,
Rag makes it control. That's the swing card.
I suppose you could say that, but
All right. Well, we're jumping into this match, and MagicAmy's 1 game away from securing her spot next week and giving herself another chance. Again, first place today, and for the 3 remaining weeks left in the Legendary Series.
This
Gets
is going to
the
be a
auto
tough
invite.
matchup, though. Like, how does MagicAmy seize the board without early weapons?
It's very tough.
Yep.
It's very tough.
I think if Lifecoach is pretty in tune with how things go, it's like no Fiery War Axe, so I think I can just attack into this Armor Smith to make sure to play around Cool Taskmaster getting a free trade.
Yeah.
A lot of these small micro decisions you might not feel like has a big impact, but if he didn't attack into this Armor Smith, it would be a 3-3, killing off the 3-1, and then all of a sudden you're behind on a minion on the board.
She does have the Death Bite, which is pretty good, but
Right.
it's a good way. The second charge is a good way to deal with like a muster for battle.
Still a while away though. It's like
Yeah.
3 turns before that whirlwind effect ever becomes an issue.
Yeah.
For now, it's like you fight for as much for the board, so that way it doesn't get out of control. Not to mention that they'll hit turn 5 before you can get your second swing off. So Quartermaster will render that useless if you let it get out of control.
I think you throw it into the Silverhand Recruit right now.
The outcome's rather negligible because the Cool Taskmaster will be able to snipe it off.
So either way, you're going to be left with
Right.
a Silverhand Recruit the following turn once you snipe it off with the Cruel Taskmaster.
Yeah. It's going to be a 1-1 versus a 2-2.
I think this way you gain more armor though.
Yeah, I guess so. Perhaps. I think it's about the same. In fact, you leave up the Zombie Chow,
So you lose an armor
you do actually lose an armor.
in the long run, in the grand scheme of things.
You took an extra damage, yeah, ahead of time, but I guess it's more reactive based off of how they play their turn 3, because muster for battle is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And like we said, you want to control the amount of recruits that they do anyways. So that way there's less 3-3s on the board.
Well, there's no muster for battle, but there is a true silver champion.
That's a pretty good draw. I think it secures your board solid enough so that way you can Quartermaster or even Harrison Jones in response to what your opponent does.
Yeah. I think that's pretty best case scenario there.
Yeah. Don't mind that at all.
Turn 4. But oh no. We're going on to turn 4 here. So this is a weird turn. I guess it's just Death Bite.
Well, Deathbite feels really weak here.
You're going into a Harrison Jones turn. If you attack face, it's very telegraphed, but at the same time, if you don't, then you're just playing right into Harrison.
Right.
But you also have 2 Death Bites in your hand, so you got to do something. I
Yeah.
guess you're not really forced to. There's no real, not a huge threat on the board, but at the same time, if like a muster for battle did come out, you'd have absolutely no way to deal with it.
Well, yeah, you either get out ahead of it or you play reactive. The problem is there's already a 1-1, so if you play if you like pass and play Sludge Belcher, then they get a really good trade with Choose Silver anyways. So I think the Death Bite here is going to attack, but you're not exactly happy.
Oh no!
Wow. Okay, well, Lifecoach is definitely playing Harrison Jones. There's just no way about this.
Yeah. Well played comes out, and that's the risk you take. But well, speaking of muster for battles,
2 of them.
Harrison Jones just pulled those right from the abyss. And what better to kill a Harrison Jones with than what he just put in your museum?
Yeah,
You
but
went to his museum and you stole it back.
he just, I mean, he already took so much, though.
Yeah.
Killed off 2 weapon charges, absorbed 8 damage, 9 damage even.
That's best case scenario against a warrior,
Drew 2 cards.
is to get a 2-card value from that Harrison Jones.
So that was Lifecoach. I think you're okay, just like letting Deathbite do its thing for a turn. You're getting close to the point where Muster for Battle can actually go uncontested, assuming they don't have Whirlwind number 2.
Yeah. Definitely willing to sacrifice the Shield Master here to
Right.
make your recruit stronger.
And like, you're not gonna pass this up, right? You're not going to attack and then like you're not gonna just pass after playing Sludge Belcher. You're gonna kill that off. It's just like too enticing. So this is what Lifecoach wanted.
This Quartermaster could be really huge.
It's still gonna be a little bit of time though. Like this is still the transition, the awkward phase where like, you know, it's like the preview best in stage. You're not really quite there yet, but your voice is starting to crack a little bit. Every day you wake up a little bit taller. It's like you're not really sure where you currently stand or sit.
It's very deep insight into this turn.
Let me
It's a transitional phase. It's like right before he can start doing some power plays with everything, and then he's also got Alex Straza. Wait, hold on, we ignored this. He also has Alex Straza in his Paladin deck.
Wow.
That's weird.
Is it weird though?
Yeah, it's pretty weird. You don't see Alex Straza very commonly in a Paladin deck because offensively you don't have much to follow it up on.
I think it might primarily be used as a defensive tool.
Against what?
Anything. Well, not anything.
What do you mean though?
Like, there's always this. I mean, it could replace cards like. Well, maybe instead of like Guardian of Kings. It's a bigger risk, but it has more uses because you also can use it offensively.
Yeah, I suppose if you build up a really strong board, you Alex Straza, and then you can Quartermaster afterwards. But it still is quite unusual to me
It
because
seems very hopeful.
it's not very good against your opponent Alex Straza. So like, if Warrior Alex Straza you, what are you gonna do in response? It's like,
Alex Straza him.
yeah, and then you just take damage.
Yeah.
So it's not like it sets you above combo range significantly in Druid. It has to be because he feels like it's good offensively.
So what do you think the play is here? Quartermaster would be okay, but quality
No. Let's
might
see.
be pretty good.
I don't mind a Quartermaster BGH play.
Okay.
I mean, you're giving up just 1/1s anyways, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's okay and even correct here. Second muster for Battle Quartermaster?
Whoa.
Jeez. Wow. Well, guess you cross your fingers and say, please no Brawler Reno.
Yeah. And takes the 7 damage to the face. And there's the Alex Straza for MagicAmy. And
Well, still has to wait. In the meantime, you just use this War Axe
it's only
to
turn
chop.
8. Yeah.
Chop, chop. So kill off one of the 3/3s, attack into another Silverhand recruit. I guess the outcome's about the same either way. You increase your chance actually to snipe off something of significance. Alright. So, just killing off another recruit.
If you kill off another one here, this will be pretty good.
Oh!
No.
Oh, tease.
That's a bummer. Still not the worst.
Wow, it's
thing in
actually
the
pretty
world.
significant damage coming in the other way.
Yeah. Especially since you're using the axe to clear off here.
Okay, so this is where Alex Straza actually might have some relevance. Because now you Alex Straza your opponent, and you just attack.
And you can put him at, what, 6 health?
Well, most likely MagicAmy's tempted to shield slam to execute this stuff.
Okay.
I'm not sure if she feels inclined to, but
At least.
there actually is a need to do it.
Okay. Yeah. Smart heads up play there, though. You don't want to leave that
Whoa! Okay, this is why Lifecoach is a cool player, man. Just look at
Hogger,
him.
Paladin.
I was really excited for this week, TJ, because I saw some of the cool deck builders that we have. Hogger and Alex Straza and Paladin. What he thinks this is Control Warrior.
He clicked the wrong class. Didn't even realize that he put Tyrion
Why
in it.
does my Gromash look like a Tyrion?
Well, this is a really aggressive stance here, and there is ways for MagicAmy to be able to deal with this, but it's going to involve her whole hand.
Barely.
Yeah. Big Game Hunter.
I
Whirlwind.
think you... Well, yeah, you got a Whirlwind. You have to Big Game Hunter. I guess you don't have to be a GH. Oh, okay, never mind, you will. I thought you were going to
I was like, what?
I thought you were going to execute the Alex Strauss
Oh,
and
okay.
just, like, relax. Because here's another thing, too. You can use your weapon to attack and then heal up back up to 15.
Very true, very true.
But,
And throwing some knife jugglers in. The knife juggler hogger value. Infinite
yeah,
juggles.
actually, that's pretty good right now.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of that, actually.
You protect the juggler. Every turn you put up an additional knife juggler shield, while also
Well,
allowing the knife juggler to get additional juggles.
You can also just play Sludge Belcher. Almost the same effect. Just that Hogger summons something cool. But after the Sludge Belcher dies, it summons other minions. So. Knife Juggler, Sludge Belcher's okay. Knife Juggler Hogger is for the sexy play though. Oh wait, I wasn't even counting for Tyrion.
This is
Wow.
even one up in the sexiness of that last
That's
play.
for like the Playboy monthly catalog.
Knife juggler Tyrion.
Oh boy.
How's he gonna deal with this?
You just drew the way you deal with this.
Well,
I
you
guess.
brawl, but then you don't play anything after,
Yeah.
and he still has an Ashbringer that's just gonna.
Yep.
And then even if one of, I don't even know which one you want to live here, because either way
Pretty
you're
sure
taking a
you
lot of
want-
damage.
Pretty sure you want Knife Juggler to live because now you can't actually deal with Tyrion.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, that settles that. Then you just like whack, just drop Lotheb and Sludge Belcher. Exclaim well met. And this is where I start tossing out my well mets. For sure. Without question. And well, I mean Amy's gonna try to stay in as much as she can, but she's looking at 14 damage already.
He doesn't have it yet.
Let's see. If you can attack.
No.
Sometimes there's a way to kill off Tyrion, like, and then make it a lethal puzzle. But
Yeah, but Big Game Hunter can't kill Tyrion, and I don't see a way.
Six, 11, 14. Yeah, I mean, it's worth evaluating
Yeah.
just in case. I mean, you don't want to be too sure because
Everything.
other people who've missed it also have been really sure.
Everything's worth evaluating in Lifecoach's case.
I guess you don't want to show Hogger, of course.
Nope, not at all. Just keep with the status quo. And that's going to do it. Lifecoach stays alive. Alright, well, now, after this match, we're going to get into the blind pick phase. And this is where players can really have a chance to sort of come back. Because they can pick any deck of the 3 decks that they've played with so far. They can go with the deck that they're most comfortable with. They've seen all the decks of their opponent. So they can pick and choose which one that they think has the best matchup against the 3 that their opponent has brought. So what do we think these guys are going to pick? So Lifecoach has the Mage, the Warlock, and the Paladin. And Amy has Warlock, Warrior, Druid. So that's tough. That's tough.
Well, I think they've got some. I think either way, it's like a pretty safe bet across the board for like generic classes. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking Handlock's okay for Amy here.
Handlock versus Handlock Mirror.
I think Handlock's okay for Lifecoach as well. I thought you were gonna like suggest something and then you just like trailed off on me. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was in deep thought.
Okay.
I was trying to think. Lifecoach might want to bring out Paladin, but at the same time, that'd be a really risky choice if MagicAmy matches up with the Druid.
You think so? You think Druid's really good against that type of Paladin?
I think so. I think it has a lot better of a chance than Warlock and Handlock. That's for
Okay.
sure. But actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Lifecoach picks the Paladin here. I think either handlock or versus paladin or handlock versus handlock.
I think Paladin's our right choice against everything, personally. But then again, I'm one of those people who believe Paladin's like the second best class right now.
Well, right now,
First being Warlock, of course.
Okay. I think Warrior's the second best right now.
Yeah, but that's because you're stomping people with Hobgoblin Warrior, and that's not.
It's not fair.
No, it's not
You're right.
actually.
It's not
the
fair.
case. You're just biased.
Control armor. Control warrior.
No,
armor
it's
up,
not.
derp.
That's what
Words
it
of-
is,
Words
dude.
from Frodan yesterday.
Control Warriors, armor up, herp the dirt. Yep.
No, it's a lot more complicated. than
Armor up.
that. There's
It's like a bad Digimon series.
Oh man. Well, handlock versus handlock it is.
Here we go, Garroshman. Armor up. He grabs his weapon, and starts digitalizing. Yeah, I think handlock versus handlock makes the most sense here.
Lifecoach doesn't have as much confidence in Paladin as you do. I don't think many people have as much confidence in Paladin as you do. Maybe Artosis.
I think this handlock mirror is going to be the one that decides it, really. Like, because I don't know if they're going to be switching after this one.
Yeah.
So if MagicAmy drops this one, then Lifecoach might be able to come back, and we have ourselves another 3-2, which would be really close. I mean, that's what people want, right? It's not the 3-2 where it's like, well, one person counters the deck that he lost to, but then the next person does the same exact thing, and back and forth the pendulum goes all the way to game number 5.
Yeah.
Instead, we have an opportunity for these guys to play whatever they feel like is the best deck.
And a lot of times it comes down to pretty even matchups and mirror matchups even. MagicAmy yesterday won a whole heap of handlock mirrors. I think 4 in total at the end of the day was what she won. There was a lot of handlock yesterday. In the blind pick stage, there was a lot of handlock mirror. And I'm very much used to her golden handlock right now. She's got a lot of golden cards.
She does. I think she even has the golden coin.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
And you only get the golden coin by having all 30 gold card deck.
Which is very hard to do. You have to play a lot of Hearthstone.
Oh man. The question becomes, can I get away with coin tapping? You have Mountain Giant in hand, but you don't have a clear play for turn 3.
Yes.
So it's not generally advisable, considering that, especially in the Warlock mirror, you might have an opportunity to go for an earlier power play. Like, say you have a Mountain Giant, and you have the ability to coin out a Siphon Soul on turn 5, so that way you can take advantage of the board state. I mean, this is all very relative, and it really comes down to what a player knows about his deck, but I personally think having the coin is very flexible.
I agree. But he goes ahead and coin taps here, and this is going to put him in a weird spot in a few turns. But we'll have to see if it pays off.
Job's done.
MagicAmy doesn't have any similar choices like that, so she's only has to tap.
Yeah, both of these players are tapping for a while. Definitely expect to tap here too. Then there's really nothing to do on Lifecoach's end unless he picks up Ancient Watcher or Farseer. So now it's a pass.
This is where the
right.
This is where the coin tap can come back to bite you.
Right. Effectively, you didn't have a way to capitalize on that.
It's the risk you take.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like you're one card deeper into the deck. So like that Azure Drake would have been what you were drawing on turn 4. And you don't know if the card you draw after that is the one that changes the play. So, in all fairness, he might be like, and I'll bring this up throughout time to time. Imagine if he didn't life tap on turn 1, he would have not had that coin or that card specifically.
Now you just can have a stronger Twilight Drake.
Yeah, but you always know the possibility of silence. Twilight Drake feels very feeble. It's so fickle. Like, it either has such good value and you do amazing amount of trades, or it just completely poops out and dies really easily to a simple Ironbeak Owl plus Mortal Coil combination.
It's either that or Giant, though. And either way, you're playing into a risk. Because Mountain Giant, you're playing into, well, if my opponent has BGH, that's an even bigger swing that they're gaining. Because it's going to be so much power on the board that I have to make up.
Sure, but
Is it
I
more likely?
think the Giant's less threatening
Yeah.
to like backfire. If they have BGH, it still takes up most of their turn, and then you could take an opportunity to develop as well.
The Giant.
The only alternative is to spend this turn removing, like the Iron Beak Owl and the Dark Bomber.
Okay. Yeah. I like this play better because even if you play the Giant, the Twilight Drake's at 9 health. So the Giant won't really be able to, unless you have a Mortal Coil in your hands, the Giant won't be able to efficiently, easily trade into the Twilight Drake, I guess is better to say. So this is good.
So then on MagicAmy's end, she also can set up a pretty legitimate threat by just tapping and then playing that Mountain Giant for 3 mana instead.
Yeah. This is big. Big play. And on the other side, Lifecoach doesn't have the answer.
Not yet. I mean, he does have his own pseudo answer, but this is where going first in Handlock Mirror I think makes a really big deal because you can hit some of these turns really effectively because you play Mountain Giant to answer, they Siphon Soul.
Yeah.
And then you press, and then well, you're in trouble because
You're the one playing
this is
proactive.
pretty much what's going to happen. MagicAmy's going to Siphon Soul that, and Lifecoach is going to take a lot of damage.
Yeah. You're the one forcing your opponent to have the answers.
Right.
Instead of being in the position where you have to have the answers. So, well.
Oh wait, she has Big Game Hunter too. She doesn't have to Siphon Soul.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Oh, is that what you're saying before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Well, this could be a pretty big turn as well. You can Mortar Coil and Big Game Hunter. But then you'd be in a position where you have to play another card. Oh, well,
There you
Ancient
go.
Watcher fits that perfectly. Well, I guess you wouldn't have to play another. No, you would, because that would put you at.
Well, you're at 9 cards
Okay.
after you beat you.
Yeah. But this is still really great. A nice set of turns. And Lifecoach has to be a little bit worried here. Think he holds.
No, I think you can attack. If he has 6 mana Molten Giants, he plays it on turn 6, and you proceed to kill him.
Okay.
You don't have an answer to Mountain Giant.
Anti-Kill Bot.
That's not really an answer, just negates the damage.
But what else are you going to do? He's dead next turn.
It's on the far left.
Shadow Flame?
Shadow Flame? No, it's a Hellfire, I think. Wow, that Big Game Hunter is such a big swing.
Yeah, I think you have to anti-Kill Bot. Because you have to
Well,
think
he's
that
actually not dead if he doesn't do anything. Like, if he plays Sylvanas, he actually doesn't die.
he's dead. He's dead to the Silence Watcher, but I guess you can't really
I'm saying on board here. He doesn't know if he's dead or not.
Yeah, yeah.
But I guess you can safely assume that you're dead.
Yeah. I mean, that's only one card that would be able to kill you. Like a Hellfire, you'd be a little bit out of range. A
Yeah.
Hellfire as well. But yeah, Rope is taken down. Doesn't know what to do, and Anti-Kill Bot is going to be the choice. You can tell he's not really satisfied.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good at all. So 12, 16, 18 damage right now.
Yeah.
Pretty sizable amount of burst, but not enough to kill.
Probably just, I don't know, clear and then Loatheb.
Yeah, Loatheb actually feels pretty strong here.
You're getting rid of most possibilities of a board clear.
Right, Shadow Flame costs way too much, and you might be able to even squeeze in the Ancient Watcher activation and start attacking.
Okay.
In fact, because you Loathebbed, I'd be okay with just using the Ancient Watch to kill off the 3/3 so you can maximize the power. Alright, well, Loatheb is like, it's the same concept, it's just that she's taking a much more middle of the road approach, not going ham, super ham. Well, looks like Lifecoach is screwed. I don't think he actually could do anything. That Mortal Coil was probably the worst draw that he could have gotten right now.
Yeah.
Short of, like, there's nothing actually he can do here.
Twilight Drake, Earthen Ring Fire Seal will put him 1 damage at a range.
Will it?
Or a few, actually, because that would be 17.
He's got 19 with Defender Vargas.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll do it.
Yeah, that's going to end the game and the series. So MagicAmy spots this one, and she's going to advance to the semifinals.
Impressive. And, of course, going to secure a spot next week as well. So giving her a couple chances.
She's happy.
She's happy.
Before, she's pretty stoic about everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, well. Now she's like, well, I beat Lifecoach, and you know what? She's not losing. She's actually hasn't lost a series yet.
No,
since,
not at all.
Coming to ESL Open Cup, because she won about 6 series from the Open series. I think it was 6 or 7 series, like around there. And then she comes to the Open finals, wins her first 2 matches, and then comes here and then wins her first match. Let's take a look at the bracket to see where we sit after all of our quarterfinals. We have Zalay versus Dark Wannix, and then Show versus MagicAmy. I'm pretty sure Show and MagicAmy know each other. In fact, I'm pretty sure Show has MagicAmy emotes in his Twitch channel,
Yeah.
so like I think there's something there, I guess. But I mean, in terms of like their friends and making sure they know each other. But I don't know if Zalay and Dark Wannix are familiar. Either way, our top 4 are very interesting, to say the least. Especially because remember, one player will be guaranteed a ticket to California and a spot for the $20,000 finals happening in February. I want to thank Newegg, Western Digital Crucial and Cooler Master, who brought you that series and this tournament. Check it out at all of our promotions at esl.gg/Newegg Esports. We're going to take a few minutes and get set for our semifinals. We have 3 more series of the day. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.